When it comes to backyard bad guys, aphids often come first to mind. But remember, aphids are mean girls. Aphids will commonly infest fruit and ornamental trees, but they will go for flower and vegetable gardens too. Colonies of aphids can be found on the underside of leaves or on branch tips and new growth. Aphids feed on the plant's juices. The damage appears as spotty discolorations on the underside of leaves. A related problem is aphids excrete a sap-like substance called honeydew, sweet, sticky, and attractive to wasps and ants. Here's how to reduce aphid infestations. First, prune and destroy heavily infested plant material. Use your garden hose to spray the underside of leaves if the plant can tolerate a forceful spray, and repeat every few days to see if this keeps the aphids in check. If not, spray horticultural oil or insecticidal soap on aphid infestations. Also try hanging yellow sticky traps among tree and plant foliage, and on stakes in the flower garden. These traps attract and kill adult aphids. In vegetable gardens, add yellow food coloring to pans of water on the ground to attract and drown aphids. Barren branches, as well as leaf holes, curling, and discoloration, characterize plants damaged by insects other than aphids. Early action will give you the best chance to succeed. This includes forceful water sprays and hand picking from leaves and branches. Small trees or individual branches can be gently knocked with a broom handle to dislodge insects. But first, put a sheet underneath to capture them and shake it out somewhere safe. Again, yellow sticky traps are useful as a preemptive tactic to keep many insects in check. If insect pests become excessive, population knockdown may be necessary. A mix of water and diatomaceous earth found at garden centers can be sprayed on plants to kill crawling insects. The mix will dry on bugs and cause them to lose moisture and die. Some plants do not tolerate this, so try it on a small portion first and wait a day or two to test for plant burns. An insecticidal soap is another option. Apply sprays directly at the pests, and don't overlook the underside of the leaves where they may be lurking. Finally, don't leave stuff lying around that can attract insects. For example, elevate your firewood. Don't put it directly on the soil. Now a word about wasps. Wasps are a natural part of our world. However, if they are becoming particularly bothersome, see our website for recommended controls or consult a professional. As for ants, they are all but impossible to eliminate. But why would you? Aside from being a general nuisance, ants cause little actual damage in the garden, and they like to eat other unattractive insects, so they can even be considered beneficial. Ants will enter your home, but usually just to forage for food. They usually have no interest in living there. If you cannot tolerate the presence of many ants near the house, here are a few safe remedies. Ants will not cross sticky barriers, so try placing two-sided tape or a commercially available insect barrier paste around the legs of plant stands and the base of fruit trees to keep the ants away. Flood the ant nest several times with a garden hose to encourage them to move away, or pour boiling water and detergent down the nest to reduce their numbers. Place diatomaceous earth in crevices around the colony locations. This powder is made of sharp, microscopic fossils that scratch the ants, causing them to dehydrate and die. Cornmeal can be spread around the ant colonies. Ants will eat it, then take in more water than normal, causing them to expand and die. For chemical control of ants, visit your home and garden center. If you can locate the nest, apply the chemical right there. To prevent outdoor ants from foraging indoors, treat door frames, window frames, and baseboards. If all else fails, try poison bait. Carefully follow the label instructions to determine its use and whether it may be used indoors and out, or strictly outdoors only. Another strategy to keep ants away is to not place composters too close to your house. And then there are rabbits. Rabbits eat buds from saplings, heads from flowers, and the smooth, thin bark from young trees. Here are some rabbit do's and don'ts. Do have a fence to discourage rabbits from coming into the yard. If chain link, stake the bottom edge to deter rabbits from passing underneath. To protect young trees from rabbits, use an inexpensive plastic tree trunk wrap. Or cut chicken wire into 18-inch strips and form cylinders to place around young trees, shrubs, and vines. Stake the cylinder down so rabbits can't press it against the plant and nibble through. The big don't is do not attempt to trap or poison rabbits inside the city of Calgary. Last but not least on the bad guys list is weeds. In its native habitat, a weed is a plant like any other. competing with other vegetation to eke out a living. But taken from its natural habitat and introduced to your yard, that plant can become invasive and earn the title weed. Without natural competitors, invasive plants grow rapidly and can reproduce quickly. Aside from our recommendation to dig them up by the root before they mature, the most effective control for weeds is spot spraying during the growing season, as explained on the weed killer label directions. Never use a weed and feed combination mix. There's more on that in the lawn fertilizing section.